Is it true that you can use dog hair in your garden as a natural fertilizer?
Start the day with a cup of pine cone.
Wool from the sheep industry.
Okay,
and
yeah.
how it is kind of being explored as a potential alternate to peat moss.
Roll it up, take some twine, tie it into a ball, hang it in the tree in the spring.
Yeah.
The birds will thank you.
I love that. Tell your dog it's like, oh.
The Helpful Gardeners, the podcast that digs into the buzziest plant trends and news you need to know, regardless of your growing zone. Colin is a skilled horticulturist with decades of growing experience across Canada. Brandi is the greenest of green thumbs with a love of asking questions. Welcome to our garden nook.
Start the day with a cup of pine cone.
Oh no, what is that? That's not tea. That's our pine. That was horrible. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Pine cone latte.
Pine cone latte.
Nom, 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 nom.
Well, if you're wondering why we have pine cones in our mugs, reference a different episode from last week where we actually talked about this trend going around on the internet, all about how you can propagate plants in pine cones.
I think my best takeaway from that, though, was the new expression.
Oh, bloom scrolling. That was great.
Yeah,
I know.
it.
I've been using it a couple of times this week, too. We thought we would do a little bit of a checkup just to kick off this episode. We're going to get into our question of the week in just a little bit, but I really wanted to see how this has been going. So what do you notice about you've had these in your office for the past week?
When I move them, so now it's not, you can see the pine cone does move a little.
Yes.
But when it sits still, which it does because it's a plant, it stays perfectly upright.
Yeah.
So that's a total win. Not once did they wilt. Like there was the plants have stayed healthy and vibrant, and you can see the water isn't up to the plant.
Yes.
Especially in this one.
Yes.
Last week I watered them Friday morning, didn't see them again until Monday morning. Mm-hmm. So the water level had dropped a bit. The plant was totally fine because the pine cone is acting as a wicking mat.
Exactly what you thought would happen.
One thing though, and I deliberately left it, is the color of my water.
Yeah, it's pretty murky.
Yeah. Nothing in there is going to hurt the plant. But what will happen is there's no air circulation in that water. So I am very, very fast pushing my luck for a algae bloom.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do when we're done the episode is I'm just going to lift him out. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll probably rinse that under cold water, dump that, give it a good rinse, give it a good clean, put the stones back in, fill it with clean water, and pop him right back in.
Interesting. Do you see any, do you see any roots though?
I haven't. I looked and I haven't seen any root development yet. And that brings me to the other thing that I'm going to be interested in seeing what happens there. As the roots develop, they're going to grow into the pine cone. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't believe there will be any way to separate the plant from the pine cone.
Yeah.
So now it shouldn't be a problem. Because pine cones are notoriously slow to break down, but it's not sealed. The roots, it won't get root bound. The roots will just come out of it. Mm-hmm. So what I'm interested to see is when it does root and I plant it in soil, what will happen, because the pine cone might actually lend itself to stability, allow the roots to have something to adhere to so that roots are never going to get too loose or anything, act as a wicking mat for water. And then as it slowly degrades, it might also kind of be like a slow release soil amender fertilizer thing. Maybe, possibly.
I'm on board. Yeah.
Just thoughts I've been having looking at it.
I would love to see this in a pot though with soil, just like this top half of a pine cone sticking out with a spider plant.
I would probably put it in at about the same depth that it's in the water there.
Yeah.
It might need to go a bit deeper, but I think that would look cool.
Oh, I think it would look so cool. So stay tuned. Obviously, we're going to link that episode to that podcast down below. So make sure you check it out if you're curious and want to try this on your own. But this was just something we saw on the internet, a little trending on the internet. And that actually brings us to this week's question of the week from Rebecca, who also saw another trend on the internet and wanted to know your opinion on it. So is it true that you can use dog hair in your garden as a natural fertilizer? The internet told me that it's got a high concentration of nitrogen and that it could bury hairballs in my plants. My golden doodle sheds a lot of fur. Is this a real gardening hack? What do you think? I've never heard of using dog hair in your garden.
The internet didn't lie.
You're kidding.
But it didn't tell the whole story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more.
It does have a high concentration of nitrogen.
Okay.
But it's not readily available.
Oh, you
Okay.
mean like in every fur, or it needs something to act it?
So exactly. So you need something to break it down. So the difference is when you look at fertilizers, and you have your water soluble and your granular time release and your stakes, it's all about how readily available the nutrients are to go into your plant. So something like blood meal, it's very exposed, a very large surface area. So, and it's very soluble.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The microbes in the soil can attack it and break it down into elements that the roots can uptake really quick.
Yeah.
Hair does not break down quick. Hair is incredibly strong as a fiber. So we put that in.
Yeah.
And if our soil is dry or cold, you need heat and moisture for chemical reactions. If it's dry and cold or cool, that hair is not going to be breaking down. If you think about a slow release fertilizer, you read most slow release fertilizers, most of them are designed to be about 30 days. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's apply, whatever, 1 tablespoon per square foot or whatever the math is, every 30 days. Okay. Hair, I don't know what the ratio would be. I mean, it's got about the same nitrogen content as blood meal. So let's say that would be your ratio. But hair is probably going to take a year or 2 to break down under the best case scenario.
Wow.
Yeah. So taking a fur ball and putting it in is the worst you could do.
Okay.
What you actually would want to do to accelerate it. So when you're composting something, if you take a whole carrot and throw it in the compost, take an identical carrot and grate it and throw it in the compost, the grated one will break down 3 times quicker than the full one.
More surface area.
Exactly. Smaller particles, more surface area, easier for the microbes to attack. So if you want to do it, you're going to take your dog hair and cut it as small as you can. Grind it, make it as small as you can, and don't put it in clumps. So have you ever seen a choked compost bin? People have done this. I've had to fix, not many, but I don't know, half a dozen in my time. And it's when people, they go, grass is organic, ergo it can go in the compost. That is correct. But if it's nothing but grass, you choke it. So it doesn't break down. And then you just get a pile of rotting, wet, stinky grass. There's too much nitrogen. There's not enough of anything else. And it's not breaking down. So a good compost is small particles and tons of eggshells, peanut shells, carrot peelings, bits of tomato, because that's adding moisture in a warm spot where it's going to be humid. That's how it breaks down. So you groom your dog, take all the hair, roll it up to a tight ball and jam it in your plant. You've done nothing really.
Yeah.
Like, there is nitrogen there, but it's no different than standing outside of Fort Knox and being like, well, technically I'm right next to $1 trillion in gold, but it ain't your gold.
Yes.
So the nitrogen isn't released.
Okay. So as a fertilizer, this is a no-go. What about other things like moisture and aeration? So like, holding moisture and kind of like peat moss.
Hair doesn't hold moisture. You ever jumped in a pool or the ocean fully dressed? Okay. An hour later, your hair's dry, your clothes are soaked. 24 hours later, if you hang, like obviously if you put them in the dryer, I'm not talking about that. But if you stand in the sun and you put your clothes and you stand next to your clothes, your hair will be dry in an hour, your clothes are still soaked.
Right. Okay.
Because this fabric actually retains moisture. That's why it's harder. Our hair doesn't. Our hair gets wet, but it doesn't hold moisture.
Interesting.
So hair isn't good for that. Aeration, again, how much hair is coming off your dog? Or how many dogs do you have? If I was going to say anything, sure, use it. Absolutely. It is not going to hurt. Okay, it's not. But I don't think you should look at it as a fertilizer. It's almost like a long-term supplement.
Yeah,
a long-term additive.
Yeah.
So take the hair, don't put it in big clumps. chop it, do it as fine as you can, or don't, and mix it into the soil. But if your plant was yellowing because of a lack of nitrogen and you put in a full bag of dog hair clippings around the roots, it's still going to suffer.
Yeah, like the only thing I could think of where it would be remotely useful is if you were going to say put it on your lawn and then just leave it, not expecting anything immediate, just as like a supplemental fertilizer over years.
The thing is, if you don't bury it, okay, so I'll tell you this right now, the birds love dog hair. Birds love it because they build it in their nests.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So during nesting season, if you left clumps of dog hair on your lawn, the birds are like, great benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not feeding your garden.
But also, like, wouldn't that attract dogs? And like wouldn't the dog smell attract your dog or attract other dogs? Like
that depends on the dog. Some dogs are very timid.
Oh, okay.
So some animals would stay away. But I let Jimmy out in the yard. I mean, we run him all the time, but obviously he goes in the yard too, and he hangs out in the yard, and he pees in the yard, and he barks in the yard. If that's not scaring the animals away, a couple of hairbrushes of hair isn't scary.
I don't know. I don't have a dog. I thought I'd just put it out there.
And that's the thing, is that it's a great question, and it's absolutely worth exploring because, you talk about things like coffee grounds, or like my grandparents used to use tea bags, they didn't have tea bags, but tea leaves as a slow nitrogen fertilizer. But again, it's readily available.
Right. Yes.
So you take hair, you put it in water, mix it, you've just got hair sitting in water. You take blood meal, flakes, pellets, dump them in water, mix it, you've got brown, murky water, and the pellets are already dissolving.
Right.
It's not necessarily the number, it's the availability.
Yeah. I was also curious because I kind of looked into this a little bit as well and saw this article by Greenhouse Canada that was talking about the wool from the sheep industry.
Okay,
and how it is kind of being explored as a potential alternate to peat moss.
Remember when we talked about my soil amendment New Year's resolution?
Yes, you put everything in there.
One of the samples I'd been given was wool.
You're kidding. Nope. Okay, that's cool.
And unfortunately, one of the reasons Golden Acre didn't carry it had nothing to do with whether or not it worked. I believe it would work. I trust the science, and I'm so glad you referenced that article because I hadn't seen that. The problem is we're a mom and pop store. We're a local store. We're not big enough to change people's opinions. So people come in, they're like, well, I've never heard of that. I've never seen it. Nobody's ever told me. But it's not like something where it was like an old trick from the war, or people used to do this, and people go, oh, okay, what's old is new again. Or this is nobody. I asked a bunch of people here. Nobody had heard of it. I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard till the sample hit my desk.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're like, with all the other products we have, how much could we possibly think of educating people on this? So that's why I didn't go further. But it was in my flower bed. And that's why I said my flower bed was, or my vegetable plot, I should say. I call it the flower bed because it has a couple of permanent peonies in it, but it was a high nitrogen. So I mix it in, but I'm mixing it in with worm castings and peat moss. So it's very rare that I see one amendment that moves the needle.
Right.
The last one that did was the Canamase volcanic mineral.
Yeah.
Okay. That moved the needle. That's why now that's part of it. But my soil is so rich and amended with such good stuff. I put in the sheep wool. I'm like, well, I didn't see any benefit. So immediately I'm like, well, I didn't notice anything good or bad. And that's how I feel most people are, where you have a fertilizer, you can be like, oh, that worked amazingly, or it didn't work at all.
Oh, interesting. Well, it's something interesting to kind of look into as well. I mean,
absolutely put it in. Or if your dog is shedding that much, roll it up. Take some twine, tie it into a ball, hang it in the tree in the spring. Yeah. The birds will thank you for it.
Oh, there you go. There's a good way of using it. So I hope that helps, Rebecca. Let us know what you decide to do. Yeah. Maybe if you do decide to help out our bird friends, or if you decide to put it in your lawn. I don't know. I'm very curious. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a dog, so I can't experiment. So you're going to have to experiment this for us, and we'll keep on experimenting our pine cones. And
quick update. I've germinated a lot. Normally 2 to 3 weeks is when you start seeing root development.
Okay, so next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping next week. And Rebecca, please give your dog a scritch from me.
Oh, I love that. Tell your dog it's like, oh.
This podcast is brought to you by Golden Acre Home and Garden. Find seasonal inspiration for your home and garden in Calgary, Alberta year-round. Visit goldenacre.ca. The comments and opinions expressed by the helpful gardeners on this show are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Golden Acre Home and Garden. For more information on everything we covered today and to leave us a voice note, visit goldenacre.ca/podcast. The Helpful Gardeners are on Instagram at The Helpful Gardeners Pod. Keep on growing, gardeners!